40 North 27th Street.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with an afternoon high around 72. Tonight we'll see a slight chance of showers and storms, otherwise partly cloudy with a low around 52. Tomorrow we'll also see a slight chance of showers and storms, otherwise be partly sunny with a high around 78. I'm meteorologist Kyle Cook for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Walk On Weekly with your hosts, Nebraska men's basketball players Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III. This is Walk On Weekly, sponsored by the Scarlet Hotel.
All right, welcome on in to Walk On Weekly. I am Harrison Arns running the ones and twos. We got Jeff Grace III in studio, Sam Hoiberg just outside the studio door, heading in right now, and we got the full crew ready to go. You guys are repping the Nebraska gear. Just want to know right off the top of the bat, kind of what your guys' excitement level is for the season. It's coming right around the corner. We got the schedules out. Preseason rankings are out. We'll talk about that. But nonetheless, what's the excitement level at?
I'd say it's really high, especially with this group. I'd say people are going to have a lot of heads turned in the beginning, because I feel like just because I was beating Nebraska, I feel like we are so doubted and like we're at such a disadvantage, because I feel like people don't believe us. Like when we say like we actually have like a really good team, and I feel like the proof is in the pudding, and time will tell what we prove to the people out there in the universe. So, I mean, I'm excited. Everything's looking to form in the right way. Just got to keep the pieces together and stay connected as a group. Fight through adversity, because we know basketball is a game of inches and runs. But at the end of the day, just hope everyone stays healthy.
Sam, where's your energy levels at?
Yeah, it's really starting to get there for me, because I mean, watching media day today, the ranked Joe and CJ went up to Minneapolis and did that, but seeing them talk about college basketball again, that was getting me thinking about it more. And yeah, I'm starting to get really, really pumped. The team's coming along. We got a little bit more to develop and get better at, but this team is as high as I've been on going into a season since I've been here. So yeah, I'm definitely very excited.
And then do you guys want to talk about the preseason rankings? About where they land you? Jeff, you kind of chimed in on it. And again, you have a point there, because I think, let me double check it. I think Wisconsin's 5. And again, these are preseason rankings. They never stay the same, right? Yeah, so Wisconsin, they're sitting at 5. You kind of mentioned it. Nebraska gets the doubt. But Wisconsin had the same record last year as you guys, and they're sitting at 5. And you guys are sitting at 12.
Wow. I did not know we were up that high.
Or excuse me.
That high? What do you mean, like low?
Yeah.
Like bad?
Yeah, in that term. Like my fault.
Yeah,
But
I guess
They got you guys above
way.
Minnesota and Penn State.
12? I love it. I'm all for it.
Do you guys even pay attention to when that stuff comes out?
Not at
You
all.
can't. I mean, you can use it.
Use it for like a chip on your shoulder or anything, bulletin board.
Yeah, we already have a chip on our shoulder. That, I mean, we don't need anything else to push us to play harder. We already play really hard. But yeah, it just adds to the fire. I mean, let's just say we'll just see where it's at now, and we'll see where it's at the end of the season before you can really talk about it.
Okay, let the play do the talking. Where
We finished 10th last year.
Yeah, I want to say 10th.
Yeah, and
just short of or not just short, making the Big Ten tournament, and then played Minnesota, right? I think he plays Minnesota, and then that Creek goes to Ohio State, transfers out, which always, again, that one always surprised me. I always thought he was going to go. I thought him transferring was always battle. Yep, I always thought he was going to go to a team that was winning, like a winning program. But again, find your spot. But what is practice kind of looking like for you guys at this point? It's getting. I asked Ramel Lloyd Jr. a little bit about it, but obviously he's in rehab, so he can't be there throughout the drills with you. What does it kind of look like in this ramp up moment for Nebraska basketball?
Every day is definitely competitive. Like that's something I noticed. Like going into the summer, like during Spain and everything, like every practice is competitive. Like if we could play for hours and like a whole day, we would play for the whole day. Like sometimes like coach just has to stop us just because like it's just enough. Like we've just like hit our loads and like we've maximized our time. But practice is definitely as competitive as it can be. And I feel like every guy's just enjoying each other and just having a good time in the moment because we know like we can't take it for granted. And like with the season coming around, like it's gonna go by so fast, but at the same time we gotta enjoy it because once we're actually in the season, it's gonna go. Like we get like pretty much no days off when the season comes around. So everyone's locked in, prepared, getting ready for the battle.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you guys will, what's your guys' opening night? You have the scrimmage. I know Dylan's going to be up there. Omaha's going to be there. What's your actual first game on the schedule?
So we have a close scrimmage against Utah on the 21st, I believe.
Yeah, I'll pull up the schedule for you too while you guys talking about it.
And then 28th or 29th, we play Doane, which is an exhibition. And then I think game 1 is November 6th.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it is November 6th, and I'll pull it up here for you guys. But, opening up the season, how important is it for you guys to kind of get off to a fast start, especially with the season being such, college basketball goes by quick, like Jeff Grace III said. How important it is for you guys to kind of get off and know what your identity is right off the bat. Things can change, but, how important is that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our schedule, it's very manageable at the start of the year. So we got to win. We got to win those games. And that's how everybody's thinking right now. It's not just me thinking that. We talk about it. Like, I remember Coach Ernie not long ago, he really said, he's like, who should we lose to in that first month? And then there's those 3 Power 5 games. We got Oregon State, K-State, and Creighton. We got to, see what happens in those. Obviously, we're planning on going 3-0 in those. So we really have a lot of belief in ourselves, and we know that with our schedule, we're going to have a great record if we want to make our goals, because we can't flop those games or it's going to be terrible for our resume. We want to make the tournament this year. That's all we're thinking about. So we got to really get off and win those games more than anything.
Yeah, man. Well, what would that mean for you guys personally if this was the team, not only to get to the tournament, but give Nebraska fans their first win in the Big Dance?
I would say everything. Like, especially in this community, they deserve it at the end of the day. Like, there's no community really like this who really cares about the players as the person, And then also, like, from where we started in Spain with, like, having 8 guys only playing to, like, now having a full team. Like, it's just full circle moment. And, like, I feel like all the hard work will honestly pay off. And, like, we can't really, like, get too high or too low at the end of the day. Like, we kind of just got to maintain constant throughout the whole season and kind of just lean on each other, because we know through the tough moments, like, they're going to come. Like, our coaches, like, they push us in practice and, like, make us think, like, we're in those tough environments and everything, like, going into it to see how we react. And, like, when those moments come about, like, how will that make us a better person, better player? And, like, what are we going to do in those moments to determine the outcome, pretty much? So, like, our coaches are changing our mindsets and, like, allowing us to adapt in in-game situations, because on the road, like, we won't get any calls, and that's helped us a lot. I feel like it's helped us grow in a lot of ways, just like as a person and also just as a player, because not everything's going to be handed to you at the end of the day. So, like, the coaches, like, are so brought into it because they're so passionate about each and every day at practice, like, the enthusiasm, the energy, just nothing really like it.
Does it feel different this year?
I'd say similar to last year in terms of culture, which I think is where we want to be at.
Mhm.
That's where we kind of flipped it, was last year's team. And we've kind of kept that same energy and same kind of vibe that I think helped us win games. We went through a lot of controversy last year. And that's going to carry us to more wins this year. I think this year we just have even more talent, more understanding of the system, and we got a lot of experience on the team to where if we stay healthy, that's where we get that belief from. We really think we could be the team that will get that first win. And if we don't, it's a failure of a season. So everyone that came in here, they're older guys, they want to win. They didn't come here just to use it as a stepping stool to get to the next level. They want to come here and win. So, yeah, and getting that first win, especially for me, I mean, my dad's a coach, and I've seen the struggles here,
Mhm.
and I've seen the wins at Iowa State. And those, I mean, they were such a huge deal over there, but they never had a win here. So if we were able to get that here, I mean, it would mean the absolute world to, I mean, my family, the team, and that would just be, I mean, that's what we're here for, to get this Nebraska to get that first win.
Yeah, I mean,
And
here.
more.
And more. I like that. Yeah, and it is. It's always kind of, you always look at those teams that have those crazy runs, like St. Peter's Peacocks, and like so much of it is just confidence. Like once you get there, knowing that you belong, you're kind of able to take care of things. I want to ask you guys this. What is something outside stats, outside wins and losses, outside, making the tournament? What is something that you guys can identify with yourselves that every time fans go out and they watch Nebraska basketball, they're always going to see this on the court?
Grit. Hands down grit. Because especially in the Big Ten, you have to be physical enough to maintain the contact that you're getting, and also the contact that you have to provide in order to allow your team to win. So grit at the end of the day, like first to the floor, like the little things like that, boxing out, grabbing with two hands, like we always say, and then just the little things at the end of the day, because we know the little things at the end of the day can change the game. Honestly, can make it go from us to winning to us losing by 1 point, maybe 2 points. Like just grit, definitely grit.
Hoiberg, got anything to add to it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add to that. I think grit is definitely one of the things, and then just passion too. This team has got a bunch of hustle guys that want to do the little stuff that a lot of people aren't willing to do to help win games. And that's another thing that adds to that confidence we have, is we have a lot of dudes that are willing to put their body on the line and play how you need to play to get those gritty wins when the ball's not going in the hoop. And I think one thing this season that we haven't really had is, I think we got a chance to be a really good rebounding team. I mean, I play against Rink and Josiah every day in practice. When they're out there in the same lineup, it is very difficult to get rebounds defensively. Like, they are just monsters. They're attacking every time. Rink's a little more methodical with it, and he's going super hard. He's strong, very strong.
Very strong.
And then Josiah is just going to bulldoze you until he can get that ball, and he's not going to stop. And then we got other dudes, Jawan Gary, another really good offensive rebounder. And Bryce Williams is athletic, dynamic, can be a really good offensive rebounder. And then you got other guys that can just make the hustle plays to get those. Like, I'm going to do my best to get some of them. I may be a get back guy, but coach will give me the freedom to go in there if I can see that I can get one and get an extra possession for us. I think we got a lot of dudes that can do that.
So what is that? You mentioned Josiah Alec, obviously transfer from New Mexico State, I think. Was New Mexico or New Mexico State?
Mexico.
Okay, just New Mexico. Transfers in. I think a lot of people look at him as a guy who's going to have pretty good impact on the defensive end of the court. What are you guys kind of seeing from him, and what has he already added to your roster that you're seeing in practice? Mentioned the size, the rebounding. What is those kind of other assets on the defense end of the court? I'd imagine he's probably not your favorite guy to go and drive at if he's underneath the rim.
Yeah, but just, you want to go first? Just like his knowledge, like Josiah's a guy who, like, obviously he talks a lot off the court, but like at the end of the day, like, I feel like you need guys like that to like build chemistry as well. And also, like, he just like knows the right spots to be in. And at the end of the day, he's going to put his body on the line no matter where the ball is or like where he is. So you want kind of those like tough, physical, like can't be broken type of dudes.
Yeah,
on
like
your
you
team.
see him, teams will look at him knowing it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
It might beat him this play on here, another play here, but he's not going to give up and it's not going to be easy every time I go out the rim.
Yeah, no matter what, one thing I've noticed, he will never give up, no matter where he is on the court.
Yeah. And what does he kind of look on the offensive end? Again, I think a lot of fans look at him. Obviously, he's going to be a good rebounder. Athleticism wise, you kind of assume he's going to have that strength on defense. But offensively, what are you kind of seeing out of Josiah Alec?
Yeah, people don't realize he's a skilled offensive player too. I mean, he can shoot it. He didn't have a good shooting season last year. Just went through a big, I think, just mental slump. But he has the mechanics and the work ethic to be a really good shooter. And he shot 35 plus at UMKC both of his years there. Or I think I know he shot above 35% for at least 2 seasons there. And
so it's there.
It's there, and he's been working hard. He's been hitting shots as long as he can stay out of his head, and that's one thing I kind of struggle with at times. So I try to help him with that too. It's just you got the mechanics down. You can make shots. You just got to do it, and don't tweak yourself every single time because you're not gonna have confidence if you're doing that. And I think when he's out of his head, he's really been shooting it well, and he's done it at a high level. And then he's a strong driver. He can dribble it, can handle it a bit more than people probably expect. I think at New Mexico, he was kind of in a limited role at the 5 where they had guys that were like elite isolation scorers, but it didn't give him much opportunity in that offense. And he just had to go get his in the pick and roll or get an offensive rebound. But he has more skill than he showed there. I mean, he averaged 15 at UMKC. So he's a pretty skilled offensive player too. So that he's not just defensive. He's got both sides.
Absolutely. Is there any other players on this year's roster that kind of you feel like fans are maybe going to be surprised to see have such a significant impact on the court?
I mean, I think there's going to be so many different guys that contribute.
That's a good point.
Every single game, but Bryce is going to have big games. We had our first inter-squad scrimmage on I think last Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one half, and he had 26 points. Then obviously, I mean, everyone knows about Casey. His first inter-squad scrimmage, I saw him play, and he had 33 in a 20-minute half.
That sounds about right. I saw in the preseason Big Ten, all Big Ten team, they already put Casey on there.
He's on there. He's been. I mean, he started the other day 0 for 6 in practice, and then after that, he was 11 for 12. And I think 9 of those were threes.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right.
They were not easy threes; they were tough ones. But yeah, we got some explosive scores there. Rink probably shoots it better than people think. Josiah, same thing. That'll be surprising to people. CJ, I mean, he's an elite shooter. He's almost up there with Casey when he's got it going. So I'm really hoping that it's going to click this year. I mean, we've seen it before. His first year here in Big Ten play, he shot 47% from 3. So he's done it before, and we expect him to do that. He's been shooting it really well in practice, and Jamarcus has done a really good job at the 1 as well. And he's running the offense the way we want it to be ran, and he's going to be really effective for us there.
Absolutely. Who do you think you kind of talked about, obviously Bryce Williams being an athletic freak before. Who do you think this year, who's the first one to get a poster?
Poster?
Mm-hmm.
Juwan?
Yeah, definitely Juwan.
I think Juwan
has the best chance for sure.
Because he'll be playing a lot, and
especially like on defense where he like gets a lot of deflections.
Crashes hard.
You see it in practice?
His first practice back live this summer, he got a put back poster. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but
right,
definitely as much as anyone. And Bryce is right up there too because he's got long arms. He can get up there.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Rink's been getting bouncy lately.
Rink moves a lot better than that's one thing that might surprise people. It surprised me. He moves well.
Rink?
Yeah, he's known as kind of a below the rim player, but I mean, posted someone the other day. Like he's been
getting bouncy.
He can jump a little bit. He can move a little bit. He had a knee injury that kind of slowed him down for a little bit, but I think that and that was like years ago. That wasn't this
Yeah,
year.
right.
He had like an ACL tear.
Maybe that's all what's slowing him down.
I don't
Now
know.
it's
Like
fully healed.
he's not
jumping out the gym.
He's not a freak, but he can move well. He's very capable. So
Might surprise some people.
he might.
That's
And
what
then
you're saying.
Joe could as well. And then if Matar's playing, Matar will definitely have a chance because that dude. I mean, we did a vertical test a couple weeks ago, and I think the top of it was the top of the backboard, and they had to raise it higher because he over jumped the whole thing.
How tall is he?
6'9", probably.
Yeah, he's got to be like 6'9".
6'9" with a 7-something wingspan, 7'3" maybe.
Oh my lord!
Yeah,
I mean, he's got that verticality underneath it.
I don't want to overhype up Matar because he's got some developing to do. But
he's got potential.
He kind of reminds me like he's not as big as this guy, but he's kind of got the potential to be like a Cliff from Rutgers, Cliff Omarui.
Yeah. I don't want to butcher his name.
Yeah,
but I think it's
it's spelled Omarui.
I think it's actually how you say it too.
Cliff's a little bigger, but I mean Matar's got that natural like just ripped body. Like he's gonna put on more pounds. I don't think he lifted before he got here very much, and he's gonna get stronger. Like Cliff is big now. He's a little bit taller, but just really long arms, and then very athletic.
Mm-hmm.
So the more he can develop his brain to be more accustomed to college basketball and get stronger, and I mean, he's got a chance because there's some plays where he gets the ball on an offensive rebound and he finds an angle and just reaches up there and dunks it, and you're like, can't guard that. So I mean, ceiling for sure. That guy is one of the best players in the country, Big Cliff, but he kind of reminds me of that. Like he's shown flashes that hopefully one day he could be a type of player like that.
How long does it take, like for you guys personally, when you got to that college level, you got the raw talent, but now it's time to kind of get polished, really figure out how to play in that college offensive system? How big is that learning curve?
For me, I would say probably 2-3 years. I'd say 3 years for sure.
Okay.
Going in my third year, kind of like learning the system and like understanding like where I should be on the court. And like also like film helps a lot with it, like watching huddle and stuff like that. And just like talking to the coaches and like getting their viewpoint on like what's going down. And like just remembering the key terms helps a lot too, because like with our offense, like the spacing and everything, like that's very valuable and important.
Mhm.
So like just knowing like the key terms and where you're supposed to be will be a lifesaver.
Absolutely. Sam?
I think Jeff and I have a little different because we played scout team. So like during the whole season portion, we like our first years, it was the first year and a half for me, first year for Jeff, but we were not running our team's offense. We would just get our summer and fall portion of running that.
Mm-hmm.
So we might have different viewpoints, but I think I was still learning it kind of last year when I was even playing. Like
I should say, like when you're comfortable, like you're not perfect, but you're comfortable with the system you're running.
Yeah, I would say I started to get comfortable towards the end of last year when I was playing it, getting a lot more reps in it. But one thing I've realized with our systems that I didn't really know, I just feel like my game IQ, my understanding of basketball has just jumped so much from just being like a student of just watching what my dad does as a coach. I mean, I didn't realize how elite his offensive mind was when I come here. I knew what people said about it, but I'd never really seen it up close, never analyzed the game like that growing up to where I would notice that. But now that it's year 3, like I know he puts us in the right spots on every play. We got to make the read. It's a pro style offense. So it's not like he keeps saying like, you can't ask me what to do on this play. It is your read. You got to give what the defender's giving you, because I'm going to give you 5 options on one play. If you read it correctly, you're going to score. So it's
puts a lot of trust on the players
100%,
to make those reads.
100%. And like it takes a little time to kind of learn that, but once you do, then it's a beautiful thing.
I'm sure it's great.
Definitely is a beautiful thing.
That's probably great too, when you have a head coach like that is willing to give his players the trust. Like, here's the tools, but I'm not going to give you scripted plays. Like, you guys got to go and figure it out.
So again, we're excited for the season, and we'll talk more about that in the next segment. We got a couple here left, but we got to throw it to break. Went a little over on this one. This is Walk On Weekly. I'm Harrison running the 1s and 2s. Sam Hoiberg, Jeff Grace III, host as always. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
So what's this new concept happening at 1040 O Street? There's 93.7 The Ticket, there's The Mill Coffee and Tea, and there's Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery? Well, yeah, it's all of those things. It's a place for the community to hang out, grab a drink and a bite, and just chill, or work, or meet, or chat, or whatever you want to do. 93.7 The Ticket, The Mill Coffee and Tea, Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery, all together at 1040 O Street.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known, but what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back to Walk On Weekly. Here are your hosts, Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Walk On Weekly. Again, I'm Harrison running the ones and twos. We got the host as always, Sam Hoiberg, Jeff Grace III, both from Nebraska basketball. Again, you guys can join the show, 402-464-5685. That is the Sartor Heyman text line. We do have one from TMZ, not the actual TMZ, just a YouTube listener. But just wants to give props to Sam Hoiberg, giving you credit on the mic. Said much more refined and calm collected from a couple years back. Do you feel that?
On the mic?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Is that something you even think about, like with PR training? Do you guys? I'm sure at some point, do you guys ever go through that?
No.
Well, flattering from TMZ.
Well, thank
himself.
you, TMZ. I really appreciate that.
But yeah, and Jeff, you're not mentioned. Sorry about it.
It's all good. It's all good.
But I do want to talk about this because we were talking about it over the break, and even I was kind of shocked a little bit. Fred Hoiberg, give him some credit about his offense and just kind of how respected he was. You talked about you got to a point, what age was that before you realized, obviously you don't want to give away his blueprint, but what age was you realize the amount of respect that Coach Fred Hoiberg has, not only in college, but at the pro level as well?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this year was kind of in last year's where I kind of really started to kind of understand like the level of respect people had for his mind. I started hearing it from outside people that have been around him that are other places. And then obviously my older brother's in the NBA now. He had heard it from some well-respected coaches as well.
Mm-hmm. And he's with the Spurs still, right?
He's with the
For
Spurs.
all those listening.
Yep. And I mean, like one example is my brother Jack. He's working with the Spurs with Brett Brown, who was a well-respected coach for the Sixers. And he told him that my dad was like a progressive offensive mind in the league. Like that, he's the reason so many teams run a lot of the stuff that they run today. Like he kind of changed it and people stole from him. So that was like the first time that I really heard something like that. And
got a lowrider.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like the first time I heard something like that, and I've heard more about it, and then I started to see it in practice. I'm like, wow, this is really like we have so many options here. We just got to do it correctly, and we're gonna explode.
Yeah, and you mentioned, coming up at the same time with Brad Stevens, how those guys kind of in that era of basketball making waves. Jeff Grace III, what was that like first time meeting Coach Fred Hoiberg? Did you kind of get that knowledge of his past experiences right off the bat? And was that a big reason why you decided to pick Nebraska?
Well, so
I met Coach Hoiberg back in the day.
I got one thing to say real quick.
Sam's got it.
So
okay,
we played AU together.
Oh, that's right. I do forget that.
And but the little bit of time after my dad was unemployed after the Bulls stint, he came in and put an offense for our AU team. He came to like 2 practices. We were 1-4, and after he put the offense in, we went 40-4 from there on.
How long did it take to learn the offense?
With the 2 practices he was there.
So,
Not that long.
he was able to.
It was pretty simple. Like, I mean, everyone just had to be in the right spot.
Some of the stuff, like he gave us spacing concepts.
Yeah, it's like stuff we do today.
Yeah, it's similar stuff we do now. Actually, some of the stuff is the same.
Just probably on a smaller level, but he's like, at least in these positions, you guys can play to your strengths.
A lot less actions out of it, but it gets you into like plays where you have more options.
Absolutely.
It helped us a lot because our spacing was kind of off back then. So then, like, when that happened, like, so many things opened up. And
we had a lot of shooters.
Yeah. So that just helped even more. It was very tough. Guarding in practice was very tough. Being on defense for me. But, yeah. So I met Coach Hoiberg back in the day. So, I mean, I didn't really understand it because when you're young, you don't really understand that stuff. But, like, me as a person now, like, he's a very well-minded offensive coach, like, no doubt about it. Hands down, probably one of the best offensive coach you can probably ever find. Just like the things he comes up with on the fly. Like I was talking to him one day. I was like, Coach, like, how do you remember all those plays? He's like, well, sometimes like I get like a piece of napkin and just like write down plays on the napkin. I was
Can attest to that. That's true.
You at the dinner table and he's writing down plays
at restaurants. Like, he sees a game on the TV.
like, that's kind of
write down a play that he sees. Yeah.
But yeah, no, great guy, great person at the end of the day, and an even better coach.
Absolutely. And yeah, you can kind of get that when he talks on the mic. There's some people that are, Matt Rule, you give him credit for that too. Some people, when they speak about the game, you're just like, okay, yeah. The way he's talking right now, there's no doubt in my mind that he's got some knowledge that a lot of people just don't quite have yet. So again, super excited for the start of the season. I do kind of want to switch over though to a little bit of NBA because things have shaken up a lot since we've last talked. We have Drew Holiday on the Celtics. Nurkic is on the Phoenix Suns. The Blazers they're just trying to Scoot Henderson. Looks like he's their guy. That's where they're headed. And man, I'm sure I'm forgetting some too. What are some other big blockbuster trades? I know I'm missing one. Milwaukee. Dame.
Did we not talk about Dame? I think we did.
Yep. And Chris Paul.
Well, we thought when we talked about him, we thought he was going to Miami.
Yeah.
No, I thought we talked about Dame and Giannis and their.
Were you guys here last week?
No, we weren't here last.
Did it happen after? Okay, maybe.
It happened.
I might be wrong. We might have been just talking about.
Yeah, but I think we
were talking about unstoppable duos.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And we said they might be the most unstoppable one. It hadn't happened yet.
And now here we are.
Predicting the future.
That is insane. Yeah, I'm. You know what? That'd be a good clip. Go back because I think we did mention that being the best, and now it's their proof. I mean, have you guys' opinions changed, or is that the most unbeatable duo?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was okay. I remember what it was. Now we were talking about a 2v2 tournament.
Yep, and we had LeBron James, Steph Curry,
Dame, Giannis, and who was the other? Jokic
it was
and
like KD or something like that. I think
Luka and
Luka
and Jokic.
And I think I picked Dame, Giannis just because the Giannis defense can't stop him one-on-one, and then Dame shooting ability.
Yeah, I think I might have went Jokic and Luka, but man, I'm just excited to see it. Jeff, what was yours? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But if I
think
had
you
to
agreed with me. I don't know for sure, but I thought you agreed with me.
We might have to roll the tape on this. But,
we'll roll the tape.
But looking back, like right now, like that's gonna be a tough duo to guard. Like as a defensive standpoint, like just like every night, like Giannis setting screens and then coming off the screen, throw it up to Giannis, shoot.
Giannis can find him because he's a good passer. I mean, Dame talked about it. He said, "What are you going to do? Pack the line and let me shoot threes, or guard me and let Giannis get to the rim?" Kind of got to just sacrifice one.
You got to choose one or the other.
I saw someone saying in the comments like, "Oh, they're just going to run a box and one, like pack it in the paint and then guard you." Like this is the NBA.
And like,
I think people are like, "Hey, man, Miami Heat got away with 3 over the Celtics. So that was enough."
Pat Connaughton will drop 50 on you if he gets a wide open corner three every possession.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, like it's not just Dame and Giannis. They had still like Chris Middleton.
Chris Middleton.
Pat Connaughton. Yeah, they still have a good team.
Yeah, that's the thing. That was the problem with kind of Drew Holiday, especially with the injuries. I don't want to like rag on Drew Holiday. It's never really been his spot to kind of be that initiator. But man, this year, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, who just doesn't get talked about a lot because he's on the Bucks. If you're being honest, Giannis does because he's just a specimen, just incredibly fun to watch. But Chris Middleton, I mean, he's the guy that in the playoffs is really never shaky either. That was kind of one of Drew Holiday's problems: shaky offense performances. Defense, you're going to get it from him, but offense up and down. Chris Middleton is clutch in the playoffs. Damian Lillard is arguably one of the most clutch players in the playoffs. That the 3-point shot over Paul George will always be burned in my memory.
And the other one, where he came
over Chandler Parsons.
He came up. He was young.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously Giannis, he literally fixed his free throws in the NBA Finals. He was awful, and then he's like, you know what? Let me just bump this up to 80% so we can win this Finals.
And another thing, he's back healthy now.
Yes, that is. I mean, okay, but on the flip side, what does Drew Holiday do for the Boston Celtics? That defense is looking pretty nice with all those guys. The offense. Obviously, it's kind of be a little more the same, but you got Kristaps Porzingis in the mix now as well.
Who is their backup 5 man?
They still got, they get rid of Robert Williams in the trade?
They did.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's their backup? Let's look that up real quick.
I know they have Al starting at the 5 and have Porzingis at the 4. That's what they did in
interesting, 'cause
preseason.
I don't think Porzingis is a great defender.
No, he's not.
Al is, I mean, good defender, but getting old.
And the thing is, Porzingis has to stay healthy as well because he's been injured a lot.
I just think their biggest problem is depth, which is very important in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can pull up their roster here real quick.
They also
But
signed Peyton Pritchard to, I think, a 4-year deal, I think.
I'm okay with Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah,
He's good.
He's a good role player.
Don't get me wrong, he's good.
Okay, they still got Al Horford, so don't want to forget about Al Horford.
He's starting.
Yep. So we got Al Horford. He'll be starting, and then you'll have Kristaps Porzingis. Let's see. Oh, they got Svi Mikhailu. He's not bad. Just another 3-point shooter. You look at their Luke Cornett. They just have a bunch of 3-point shooters. All day.
Awful.
It's there's a drop off.
Quite a
drop off. They still got Derek White, another guy that's
Derek
just
White
kind
is really good.
All Derek White now.
A little up and down, and then I keep going through names here, but we'll get to a point where if you're not a heavy NBA fan, probably not going to be recognizable for a lot of them.
What was that, Neemias Queta or something like that?
Yeah, it's let me go back up here. Neemias Queta. Neemias Queta is probably how you say it. Center, age of 24, 7-footer. He is how many years? He's 24 years old. Draft pick 2021, second round, 39th pick.
If anyone in the comments can get where he went to college without looking it up, you get $5.
And if you can get the name pronunciation added with it, I'll put 5 on it and we'll give you $10 because that's a tough one. That's
Got to be within the next 30 seconds or else you looked it
up. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what they're working with. And not a lot of depth, but let's go over to the Western Conference because I think we all kind of agree unanimously that it's probably the Bucks unless you have, something crazy happens like the Miami Heat just go nuclear mode. But I think that's pretty much the agreed upon favorite.
If it's not emo, Jimmy Butler.
I was kind of making fun of him for it, and then I realized he does that every year.
Yeah,
I had to remind myself.
It's just the thing he does.
Yeah, and because there was a video, and he was telling, Bam Adebayo, he's like, "This is my Halloween for me," and he's like, "All right, I can respect that."
That's pretty funny. But I saw, I think it was ESPN or NBA TV, but they were talking about the Heat, and they had their like projected starting lineup pictures on the back, and it was like their media day pictures. So it's like a serious thing talking about the lineup, and you see emo Jimmy Butler in the back. It's pretty funny.
It was a rough look, I will say, for Halloween. Even though it was for Halloween, I was like, oof, that one isn't it. But
last year he did the dreads and the shaved face, like the extension dreads, and that was pretty funny. This one was way
just too
more
much.
way more out of pocket.
Yeah.
So what is he gonna do next year?
Maybe that's the joke. Maybe it just keeps getting crazier.
I bet he does.
You think it can get crazier after like the emo stuff?
Knowing Jimmy,
never know.
There's more possible. There's always some left in the tank if it's Jimmy Butler. So we got to throw at the break here, though. We got one more final segment with Walk On Weekly, and that will kind of cap things off here for Take a Weeknights, and then I'll set up a couple of replays for you guys, and then we should have it set up so you got replays all night. So don't go anywhere. Walk On Weekly right after this.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Le estaban olvidando las cosas. Fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back to Walk On Weekly. Here are your hosts, Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment of Walk On Weekly. Again, I'm Harrison Arns running the ones and twos. Host, as always, Sam Hoiberg, Jeff Grace, the third of Nebraska basketball. Season's right around the corner. We said November 6th, I believe, Lindenwood home opener. Be sure to check that one out and get PBA full this year. I want to see that place kind of popping off. Break the headset over there?
First it's the cramp, now it's the headset.
Okay, for those who aren't watching the stream, I almost don't want to help you.
Oh, here we go.
So for all those listening, Sam Hoiberg, we got some headset problems going right now. You cannot get it to flip to the right side. Calm down. Hey, what we just talk about over the break? Slow down. Just slow down. There we go.
There we go, Sam. There we go, Sam.
Back and better than ever.
You're good at getting those clips out. I'll be another easy one.
It's just content. I do it on purpose.
But before we wrap up here, see, we don't got a ton of time here. We'll just quick rattle it off. Okay, Big Ten West favorites. Is it fair for the Nuggets? Again, these are just betting odds. Go to the coaches poll. It's probably going to say something completely different.
You just said Big Ten West.
Did I say Big Ten West?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been talking a lot of football lately.
Yeah, probably. It's that time of year. We have
Big Ten West favorites, Nebraska. Let's go.
Hey, there's still time.
All day.
Big Ten West. Isn't that scary? We won't go on that. We had on my green. Good morning, Pearsonell. I got my football talk in. But Western Conference, NBA, Nuggets, a lot of, if you go to the betting websites, they're not favored to be the championship anymore. It's a lot of the Phoenix Suns. You're looking at teams
trying to think who they are. It's Phoenix Suns. The Warriors are mentioned in some. Grizzlies and Cavs are actually around 5 and 6. But the Nuggets, hard to find one where the Nuggets are actually favored. Where do you guys sit with the Western Conference? With all the acquisitions, you got Chris Paul on the Warriors. The Phoenix Suns, we talked about that ad nauseum. Who are you guys looking at?
I like the Clippers. If everybody
still after all the trades, you're still, because you said that before, you still riding with Clippers? Okay. Bold take.
They stay healthy. I think they got a chance.
They definitely do. I can give you this. If they stay healthy, you got arguably two of the best wing defenders in the league. So it's going to solve a lot of problems if you are playing, the Nuggets, Warriors, Suns even. The Suns would probably help out the most, help you with KD a lot.
Yeah.
But Sam, where are you at?
I really like what the Suns did getting Nurkic.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was a while back. We were talking on the show about who they needed, and we because we don't like Ayton. We didn't like Ayton for them,
especially when Chris Paul left.
Yeah,
thought that was going to be a void.
And I said someone like Zubac, and then I believe Nurkic can kind of be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they brought in a guy that can be, I think, better than Ayton was in that role. And then they just, so many scorers. I don't know if I wouldn't pick them. I still think the Nuggets are going to win, but I think that team could really challenge them. I like the Clippers too. They could be healthy, obviously. I could see the Kings being the 1 seed, but I don't know if they would win. I don't know if they're built for the playoffs.
Yeah, are you guys big believers in like you got to lose in the playoffs before you win it? Obviously, college not the same, but NBA seems to be a common trend.
Yeah, I
like you
could
got
see
to
that.
say the Phoenix Suns. They're rolling through. They're the number 1 seed, and it's not a question. You still looking at betting on them to lose in the playoffs?
I think it's such a different game, regular season and playoffs. There's so much better defense being played. And that's why I say the Kings are a regular season team, kind of, because their offense is the best in the league. Like they averaged 124 points last year.
There's a stretch where it was in the 130s. It was insane.
Unbelievable. And they couldn't, like, it was the first round they got knocked out. I mean, they had a great series with Golden State, but I don't think anyone thought they would win it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the teams that have that defensive presence built in and guys that are capable of being clutch in the playoffs, which, I mean, you get that from losing, like, and having those tough moments. So I think, I could see where you come from with that. You got to go through the losses to get to the mountain.
Yeah, I never subscribed to that. And then you just see it over and over and over and over again. It's like, man, the only times where I'm like, I don't know if that's true is you look at the Boston Celtics and like, man, they haven't budged. Doesn't matter how many times they get there. Like they just can't break through that barrier. But nonetheless, we got to go ahead and wrap it up here. This has been Walk On Weekly. I'm Harrison. We got Nebraska basketball players in here. Sam Hoiberg, Jeff Grace III, host as always. We'll go ahead and get out of here. We got some replay set up for you guys all the way through the night. Talk to you tomorrow.